Alright, hello everyone. We're in 1.6 and we're going to solve absolute value inequalities. So here's a good example. I have absolute value and I also have an inequality. I have less than or equal to. Alright, so the first step, just like with the radical equation, step number one is isolate the absolute value. So I'm going to move this one to the other side to isolate it. So I have absolute value of x plus 3 is less than or equal to 5. Okay, now we need to think, is this possible? Can absolute value be less than or equal to 5? Yes. You only have to watch out if this side turns negative. If this side turns negative, then it's an all or nothing answer. But here, this is a nice positive number. Can this absolute value be less than or equal to 5? Sure. So remember, with absolute value, you do two things. So the next step is to drop the absolute value and solve like normal. So I've got x plus 3 is less than or equal to 5. Okay, one step here, move 3 over. No flipping here because I'm not multiplying or dividing, I'm just subtracting. And I get x is less than or equal to 2. Okay, next up, we need to drop the absolute value, flip the inequality, and make the other side negative. And starting from where it's isolated. So now I drop absolute value, I flip the inequality, and I make the other side negative. And I repeat the exact same steps. Minus 3, x is greater than or equal to minus 8. Okay, now we put it all together. So here's our number line. We need to do both of these at the same time. So mark down the 2 points. Over here is minus 8. Over here is 2. Working left to right like normal. We should do a closed circle because this is greater than or equal to. So I'm closed at minus 8 and I'm closed at 2. Most students struggle with these inequalities. So remember, this is an alligator. It's chomping down on a bigger number. So when I graph this part, I need x is greater than minus 8. So greater means I'm going to the right. When I do this one, I need stuff that's less than 2, so I'm going to the left. And it has to satisfy both of them, so we get the middle. Our interval notation is minus 8 to 2. And brackets on both because they're closed circles. Alright, let's try another one. Okay, so here's another absolute value inequality. So step 1, isolate the absolute value. Absolute value of 2x is greater than 6. Now I think, is this possible? Yes. This is a nice positive number over here, and this can become positive. So now I break into my two things. I drop the absolute value, and I solve like normal, and I drop the absolute value, I flip the inequality, and I make the other side negative. Okay, so here it's the same steps on both, dividing by 2, dividing by 2. So I'm going to go over here and say, okay, I have x is greater than 3. It's here. And this guy gives me x is less than negative 3. Underline, here's the graph. Here's minus 3 and here's 3. I need stuff. Here x is greater than 3 and it's open because it's strictly greater, and I want stuff bigger, so to the right. And x is less than minus 3, so open circle and to the left. Got two pieces here, so interval notation working left to right, way out that way is minus infinity to minus 3. Union whenever you have two pieces, parenthesis 3 to infinity. Okay, I want to look at two more. Okay, so I have another absolute value with an inequality. So I'm going to isolate. I'm going to move the 1 over. Absolute value of 3x minus 5 is less than or equal to minus 4. Okay, now here, once this side is negative, I need to think. Is this possible? Can absolute value be less than or equal to a negative? Well, the smallest this side could be would be 0. Absolute value can spit out 0, or it's going to spit out positive stuff. So is 0 less than or equal to a negative? No. Is something positive less than or equal to a negative? No. This would be no solution. Absolute value cannot be less than or equal to a negative. It can't be equal to negative, and it can't be less than negative. So let's compare this problem with the next one. Okay, so same directions, and I've already isolated it. So I have absolute value x plus 9 is greater than minus 4. Okay, this side is negative, so I need to think. Well, I know this can't be equal to minus 4, but can this be greater? Yes, it's always greater, right? It doesn't matter what you plug in for x. this is always going to be greater than negative 4. The smallest this side could be would be 0. And 0 is greater than negative, and positive side is greater than negative. So here the graph would be all real numbers. Any number will work. And this is from minus infinity to infinity. Pick your favorite number, plug it in, you should get a true statement. So if I try 0, well, 0 plus 9 is 9, and the absolute value of 9 is 9, and 9 is greater than minus 4. So everything works. Okay, that should do it on solving absolute value with inequalities. And let's get a smiley face. See you next time.